Today's video is going to be a little different from the usual. Thought it'd be fun to kind of mix things up a little bit. It's a Saturday morning, we've got beautiful weather, and I wanted to kind of bring you guys along with me on some of the things I'm going to be doing this morning and talk about kind of some behind the scenes things. You know, I've never really shared with you all. A lot of people don't realize that I'm on our sales team at a local Subaru retailer, and so today I want to talk about kind of what I'm doing this morning to prepare for the day and what I've got going on. And truthfully, I've got a lighter day, so I've got a little bit of a better ability to make a video. A lot of my videos I film, edit, and post. I try to do it same day or very close within that. I do all that stuff on my own, so I don't have a team or anybody else helping me. And I make these videos alongside my full-time job, which is selling Subarus. And today we are about to go show this Forester hybrid touring. Something interesting on this one, I have never seen since I've worked with Subaru. I don't think I've seen an ice silver metallic, so the exterior ice silver metallic with the brown interior. I haven't seen that color combo. I think they've only ever had the ice silver with the black interior from my understanding. And this one being the hybrid trim, they've changed things up a little bit. Of course, it's a little dirty. We're gonna get that cleaned up today as well. They don't come with gas, so we're gonna go fill this up with gas. Let's check it here. I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you're ever wanting to check your odometer or just the fuel in your car, you can just click the trip reset button and it'll tell you. You don't have to turn the car on to be able to see the mileage. This one has 6 miles on it and it's got low fuel. So we're gonna go gas it up here, get it ready for our test drive. I've got a previous customer of mine coming in at 11 today to come check this out. They're currently in a Subaru Outback lease that ends here at the end of the year, and they are considering they're considering the Forester because, and primarily the Forester hybrid, because they like the idea of getting better fuel efficiencies, better fuel economy, and they like here, let me show you this. Car's gonna beep at me because it's still running. That's the thing about these hybrids, they're really quiet. If you saw my last video, I kind of talked about that. So when it's running and you get out of the car, it beeps to tell you like, hey, car's still running, so you don't leave your car running. So anyways, my customer's thought process is kind of like a lot of my customers when they're switching from one Subaru model to the other, or maybe from one car to the other, but specifically when you're comparing the Outback to the Forester, the seating position. So you can raise and lower your seat in both the Outback and the Forester, but with your Forester, you can see the seat goes up quite a bit in car. So you've got a taller roof on the Forester. That's what I always tell people. The Forester, Outback, very similar, but you've got a taller roof here, and so you've got some more clearance, some more headroom where you do have some more leeway where you can raise that seat up. And where it's positioned already is just, it's a higher position compared to the Subaru Outback. So we're gonna go fill this up. They don't come on the truck with gas. They come completely empty, I'm sure for safety reasons. That seems obvious. And we're gonna get ready for this test drive with my customer. A lot of people were asking in my previous video on the hybrid. So we're in EV mode right now. The gasoline engine is not on. And they asked, well, if I run out of gas, could I just run on the EV mode, at least for a little while? And the answer is no. You still have to have gas, at least some gas in the car, because the EV mode is limited. It's gonna kick on, it's gonna need that gas engine to kick on. We're still in EV mode. I don't know if you can tell from the audio, but the car is really quiet, but it's gonna turn that gasoline engine on like almost, okay, it's already on, just pulling out of the parking lot. So just to give you a glimpse of how quick that changes over automatically. So yeah, with the hybrids, you still need gasoline in your car, even when in that EV mode, because you need that gasoline engine on to recharge the EV battery. All right, so we got a full tank of gas, gassed up, ready for the test drive. And since we just got the car off the truck, it's got some residual dirt on it. We just want to get that kind of like that dusty layer off of the paint, because I think this car, it does really look, it looks great. That ice silver metallic, a lot of people like it, that blue silverish tone, but we want to give it the best opportunity to be showcased to the customer. And so we're going to go do a quick wash on it and get it ready, prepped for the initial test drive. And just kind of a quick thing that I want to note and kind of talk about for just, again, talking about behind the scenes with being in car sales and really sales in general is that, you know, today I'm showing a previous customer a car, and that is about 50% of my business nowadays is repeat referrals. That's how you're going to survive. You see a lot of kind of doom and gloom on the internet about the car market falling apart, and that's been for years. There's always been, you know, there's always something that is overplayed, and I'm not saying that there's not truth in some of that, but at least for myself with Subaru, I haven't seen a lot of that, you know, that come to fruition. You know, they talk about the car market falling apart, and you see pullbacks definitely in demand with interest rates, with things going on in the world, the political environment, all that stuff. That all factors in, but it's all, in a lot of ways, I feel like blown out of proportion most of the time. And so yeah, if you're gonna survive in the business, you gotta have a base of repeat referrals. It takes time. You know, I've been doing this a while. I've been with the dealership I'm at now since 2017. That's actually the only dealership I've ever worked for. And anyways, what I was saying, I started in 2017, been doing this a while, and I was actually in more of like an online sales role. I didn't actually work with customers face to face. It was all over the phone, which has its own unique skill set requirements. And it helped me learn a lot about the business. And I think that's what helped set me up for success with coming over to Subaru in 2020. So the dealership I work for has Chevrolet, Volkswagen, Subaru. We have Chrysler brands as well. And I just most aligned with Subaru, and I really liked the product. I ended up buying a 2023 Subaru Outback myself. But I started in 2020, probably during one of the scariest times for a lot of people in many different industries. And you kind of learn to pivot. You know, when we couldn't order, when we didn't have inventory, we were at least fortunate enough to be able to order cars from Subaru. And so instead of selling cars that were on the ground because they didn't exist, you had to learn to sell a product that you know wasn't there. And so I survived off doing a lot of orders. Some of you here on YouTube have bought from me, you know, traveled across the US to get a car from me, which I'm very appreciative of. You know, that says a lot, and I really appreciate that people are willing to trust me and come here from many hours away and make a trip out of it. And so yeah, that's how you survive, is by doing a good job with each individual customer and not just thinking about it as a one-time transaction. You know, cars are expensive, and many people buy a car and keep it for 10 years, but there's a lot of people who buy a car, and even if they have intentions to keep it for a decade or more, they end up trading out of it sooner because either they want something different, you know, 2-3 years in, or something changes where, you know, family grows or family shrinks. You know, they need a different size car. So that's why you have to focus on your repeat business. You have to take care of your customers. That's how you're going to survive. And that's what we're doing today. We're going to work with a previous customer and see how things go. I will say, at least this month, we don't have a huge push for selling Subaru Foresters, primarily because we don't have any. We don't have hardly any of the hybrids or the non-hybrid Foresters. We have a lot of Subaru Crosstreks, and I think that's probably very similar across the board for other Subaru retailers as well. I mean, if you look at the front line right here, we have Crosstreks just stacked up on the grass because we have a ton of them. And I said this during the COVID era where we were talking about like inventory shortages and where to find the best deal. I've always told you guys, look for a model. If you're looking for a low price, look for or a big discount, I should say. Look for the Subarus that you see the most of at your local retailer. If you see a lot of a particular model, this month we see a lot of the Subaru Crosstreks, then that's where you're gonna find some greater discounts. And you know, the best deal is all subjective, right? You know, not everybody's looking just solely at price. A lot of people are also looking at what's actually on the car. And I do genuinely feel, and I've said this before in previous videos, that the Subaru Crosstrek packs the best value when you factor in the features and the price point. It's a smaller car. So if you don't need the size of an Outback or a Forester or the Subaru Ascent, it has a lot of the other features that you can get on the upper trim line models like the Outbacks, the Foresters, the Subaru Ascents. And so that's incredible because you can get a car in the $30,000 range. You can still get all-wheel drive. You can still have the safety features. You can still have a lot of that without having to spend a ton of money comparatively to what else is out there. You know, I know each and every year things go up, but it packs incredible value for what it is. You match that with incentives that Subaru's putting out. So Subaru just put out a low APR incentive, or a lower APR incentive than they've had in previous months on their other models, but more specifically on the Crosstrek. They've got a big push right now to sell Crosstreks, probably because they are clearing out the remaining 2025 inventory before the 2026 arrives here later this year. So if you're looking for a good deal, again, it's subjective, but if you're looking for a good price to value ratio, the Crosstrek is, I think, number one in my eyes for Subaru, really across the board when you compare to other brands too. And so for the month of August, that is, you know, something to take advantage of. So it's very likely if you visit us or any other your local Subaru retailer, you're gonna see a lot of Crosstreks, and you're gonna see dealerships willing to sell you one at a really great price. So that's something to look out for if you're looking for a Subaru and looking for a great deal. There's a big push in the month of August. August has historically been one of our best months in terms of sales volume. So I think we're gonna see a big push. You know, a lot of people are getting back from summer vacation, at least midway through August. Kids are back in school and kind of back into their routines, and so people are able to devote more time to actually going to the dealership once things kind of settle down at the end of the summer and early school year. And there's a lot of cool things coming out with Subaru. We've got the new EVs. I know not everybody's a fan of them, but it's a different kind of buyer, I think, that are looking at the EVs. And that new Uncharted, which is the size of the Crosstrek, I'm excited to see that in person because it's got a little bit more range than our other EVs, just slightly. They're gonna have a front wheel drive option. That's interesting to see in a Subaru. That's kind of unheard of, kind of the opposite of what you would expect with Subaru. But I'm excited to see these things coming down the pipeline. I'll keep you guys updated on other cool things with Subaru if you're interested. If you have questions about anything kind of behind the scenes, life of a salesperson, or what it's like day to day being a salesperson for a Subaru retailer, let me know what your comments are. Let me know if you have any curiosity, or if you don't, then I won't make videos like this. I'll keep just making product videos and kind of how-to videos on Subarus, which I still plan to do, but this is just something to kind of supplement, something I think that is fun to do. I like talking about it, and also creating value for maybe people who want to get into sales, or just entertainment. Maybe you don't have any interest in getting into car sales, but you're just genuinely curious about the market and how things are from a real world first person point of view in the car business. You know, you see a lot of media outlets talking about it, but they've never sold a car in their life. They've never set foot on a dealership, or they're not actually working in the business day to day to be able to tell you realistically what it is actually like. And I want to shed some positivity on that because there's so much negativity out there, and I want people to realize, like, it's not as negative in reality, at least from my experience, as what people play it out to be. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video, just something a little different. Comment below with any of your questions you have, and I will see you in the next one.